Hey, what's up, y'all? It's DJ EC3, and this is episode 154 of the Keep Grinding the podcast. And this is What's in the Deck with my guy.
Tony Donez here.
And we're back with another episode. And I just wanted to say thank you to everybody who's been listening to the last 5, 6, 7 weeks coming consistently.
Yeah,
so,
I know.
Pause. That sounded a little, we out here. Man, again, make sure you guys visit the Instagram, Keep Grinding the podcast. Subscribe on Apple Pod, Spotify, YouTube. BookEC3.com. That's not a cheap plug. Everything that we've ever done from all podcasts is on there too. I try to keep up with it. D, how you doing, sir?
I'm good, man. I'm good. How about yourself?
I'm really excited to talk about today's topic.
Yes.
This is and I want to thank you too, man. We talked about it on the phone, but we could tell the people we really enjoy talking about hip hop. This is the easiest podcast in the world.
Yeah, this is what we do in our normal conversations. It's just now we're just recording it and throwing it out for you guys. But this is just the typical shit that we do on a regular basis.
And it's fun, and it's like I can't I can't even put it in words sometimes. It's fun to again share this with everybody, but just talking to you, and now we're having notes, and it's a little more official. And now we have something. It's I'm a big history guy, so now we have something on wax we could always go back and refer to, and hopefully people like Donez said last episode we were on. Go listen to the albums we're talking about.
Definitely.
I think they're worthy. If they're worthy of us discussing it, because we're both busy men. Shit.
Yeah.
Listen to them. We're not ready.
This isn't our full-time gig right here.
No, not at all. We're doing this because out of love and just out of what we want to do, and it's been really fun. And as a DJ, and I don't want to start off on a sad note, but I just gotta do it out of respect. I want to say rest in peace, my guy Manuel G.
Yes, sir. Definitely.
Big part of this DJ community, this event community that I love doing as a DJ. I learned a lot from him, and he was always good to me. So just rest in peace, condolences to him and his family. And man, I just wanted to, I think as a DJ podcast, we got to start off and pay homage, and that's what we're doing today. So D, what's in the deck today?
Today we got out of Chicago, Common, album B.
Man.
One of those ones, man, for us at least.
Yeah.
For us, it's definitely one of those ones.
And again, this is how long we've been dissecting albums. This was dropped on May 24th, 2005.
Damn, 05.
Dude, this is his, what album? I think this was his first album. Let's see. This is his fifth album. And to me, that's crazy because I want to be honest with you, before when this dropped, I only knew Common from that Ice Cube Beef documentary, the I Used to Love Her, all that stuff. Did not really dissect Common, and I was not as grateful for him until this album dropped.
Man, this dude there's something about Common, like he's like Scottie Pippen, bro. Like the man does everything when it comes to hip hop. The man can do any style, rap over any kind of beat. You want to take something hard, he's got that. You want to take a love song, he's got that. Like the dude just does everything.
This album has everything.
And this album's like the epitome of that for him.
And man, when this dropped, I think the hype so much back in the day when Double XL was really one of the top hip hop magazines in the game. That Double XL stamp meant something.
Yes.
And I know they gave out hundreds of them after this.
Right.
But this is when it was a rare thing. To get an XL was a rare thing. So to get a Double XL.
Before people figured out you could buy one.
Yeah, exactly.
Before you could buy a Double X. No, like there's some legitimate. Same with the 5 mics at the source. Like there's some ones that are those ones.
And that's kind of that was the peak of it, but this was like the older Chicago. This is when Kanye was in the middle of his run, and this is the good music. This is like I'm sure this is probably one of the first albums of good music. Just to see that Kanye was gonna take away from what he had his run, which was incredible, right? Those first 3 albums, I'm sure we're talking about. But to take that time away to produce this album, and I think he produces every one except for 2.
Yeah, and I think Dilla did those, right?
Yeah,
Dilla did those other 2.
And this is peak Kanye on this, and I know he's done some great shit with Jay-Z, but this is like that older Chicago, and I think Common knew this is the time. Like this is the one you have to. This is the timeless music we're talking about. Man.
He jumped on every one of those beats and did something different with each one. It's wild, man. It's I took the week and I listened to it a couple times. Full disclosure, this isn't one that I listen to like every day, like some of the other ones that we'll talk about. But I mean, I knew every song and I popped it on and I was like, and I started listening to it differently when I know we're going to talk about it. And I was like, damn, there's some things that I hear in this joint that, whew.
And before we dive into the track list, just kind of what's going on this time. It was declared one of the greatest rap albums of all time by Billboard and Rolling Stone. It was again released May 24th, 2005. Nominated for 4 Grammys, and man, this is the one for Common. This is Common's one, and I remember when this dropped. I guess when we talked about Raising Hell for you, right? What it meant for you. This one's kind of like my Raising Hell in the Chicago world.
Right.
This is like when I started getting into Black Milk and the Kanye, and a little bit of Slum Village. Like this is kind of. I was used to listening to gangster rap, like the West. I was a West Coast, East Coast, Biggie, Tupac guy.
Right.
But this came in, and I guess it was mature backpack rap. But he still had the city, like he still had those rugged hits, like. And this is when Jay retired too. Like this is what's going on at the time. Jay-Z retired for the first time, and you hear it on you. When we're talking about Shy City, but my man retired. I'm here to take over. Like everybody wants that spot. And I think that's what Common wanted. I think he wanted that spot, and we could start with the B intro, man. What a build up,
man! Just I'm always a big fan. You guys have probably seen those Instagram videos and YouTube videos and stuff where they show like the progression of building a beat, and that this intro is that. Like it starts just the bass line, the boom boom, and then the piano comes in, and then there's a little thing, and then you just see how the beat builds up, and then he just jumps on and starts flowing.
And dude, when it's like when those violins hit and everything, it's like man, it's such a story in a weird way. Like his voice, and it's like we always talk about those rappers who their voice is instrumental on the beat.
Yep.
And Common just starts. It's we always say floating. That's like the cool thing to say. The man was floating on this beat, and it's And you hear the first couple lines, and that's why I brought this out, because he's talking about Malcolm. He's talking about his influences, and I think you would agree 100%. The best rappers tell the vision, you could see it.
Yes, sir.
And it's like, man, he paints this picture, and that's what I always loved. And especially when I was 14 years old, I didn't get it, but I knew, I was like, man, it was really, really similar to how I felt 50 would Get Rich or Die Trying, where I could visualize being on the corner of Chicago. And it's really nice to see, man. It was really nice to hear it again as a grown man.
And the cool thing about Common, and like you hear that, you hear that street shit from him. But if you know and you followed his career, like he understands the street, but he's not a street dude. If that makes sense. Like, he had that whole vibe where he was wearing, he talked about it in the album, his crocheted pants, and he was dating Erykah Badu, and he was vegan, green, crunchy granola type dude, and but still having that understanding where he knew the streets, could rap about it, and it was still valid, and it was still relatable, and it was still something that like you took and you're like, yeah, he knows what he's talking about, and it wasn't like some bullshit.
No, definitely.
That just sets him apart from other rappers.
And just the again, we're gonna talk about the beat so much. The beat is so crazy, man. Like, and that's just the intro. Yeah. And then we go into the corners, and that's kind of like the first single from this album. I remember watching this on 106 and Park, and I remember this dropping, and just the whole the spoken word, the last poets and shit like that, man. And the way he comes, like, memories on corners with the foes and the moles, walking to the stoves for the rolls, like, the way, and people have to really dissect. I think you have to see it written out to see what the hell, how his rhyming patterns and his cadences and just the way he's placing these rhymes, dude. It's beautiful.
There's certain raps that, like, there's stuff you listen to in the car, and boom, it has the beat, and there's certain shit that I have to listen to in headphones, man. Yeah, you gotta hear all the details to really appreciate it, and this is definitely one of those headphone albums. Like, even just the beginning of the beat, the drum to start, it comes out and it's like, oh shit, like it's just some harder shit coming at you right now.
And as a DJ, I'm like, man, if I'm doing a hip hop mix, you could clip that, and you could probably bring that in with anything that's in that BPM range. Yeah. And and just like. Again, just tells the story of the corner of Chicago. Like, the world is cold, the block is hot as a stove. Like, man, and then the last poets come in, and it's kind of like
their voices are so distinct too.
Yeah, it's like I wish I could give you this feeling, and it is that feeling. Now that I'm a little older and a little more like I get it. It's the feeling of being on that Chicago corner. Yes. And the beat, man, is just those samples that Ye used, and again, Common just coming. He knew what was at stake, man. He had to. There was no fillers on this album. He knew that.
No, he was like coming just straight at you. Every one of them just, and it's funny because like we'll roll into it like there's a harder beat right here, and it's like okay, here's that first punch, but then it like straight up rolls into like some club joints and some, and it's like damn, but it doesn't fall off. which is
Definitely.
crazy.
And again, just looking at the lyrics again, man, the corner where the struggle and greed fight. Like, we write songs about wrong because it's hard to see right.
Oof.
Like, oh my, like, he has so many gems. Like, as a young kid, that's why I love the album, because it's like, okay, I can relate to that. I kind of
Right.
see, I can see this, and just the way he was. It is poetry in hip hop. There is a poet. This is poetry, 1000%, man.
And what's cool, like it's even for poetry, for for what people consider classic poetry. What you heard at, what were you, 14? You said what you heard at 14, you heard it completely different at 24, and you've probably heard it completely different at 34. And it's like it like the poems progress with you in life, and that's cool, man. That's real shit right there.
And what it's crazy, and this is another thing too, people. There is 3 verses on this. This isn't like this wasn't a short song, but it was.
No.
That was back in the day when you had to bring it. Your third verse had to be just as good as your first verse, and that's something I really appreciate about this album. It's a complete album, man. A complete song as well, and I really enjoyed it, man. I really,
It's
really
funny when you
enjoyed it.
talk about the length of the song. Like, I grew up in a time where you had to purchase the music. So if somebody gave you like a 2.5, 3 minute song, I felt cheated. I was
Yeah.
gypped, man, because I paid good money for this shit. I need 4 minutes.
At least.
3.5 was like, you're pushing it, but yeah.
No, definitely. That's the first thing I noticed too when I'm listening to it again. As a little older now, it's like, damn, he was coming with 3 verses, almost the whole entire.
Yep.
This is the album, and it is an album. And
Yes.
again, shout out to everybody doing it still. But no, this is back in the day. It's crazy how this is 20 years ago too. Scares the shit out of me.
Wild, dude.
And we talked about this album having everything, and this next album is Go.
Yeah.
And man, what another that's a 3rd single. It's crazy. It's an old it's a club hit in my opinion. You could play this somewhere, maybe not at a wedding or anything, but it's one of those things. It's for the ladies.
Yes, absolutely. And it's funny because you look at the contrast. You went from having the Last Poets to having John Mayer as a feature, and it didn't seem out of place.
No, it did not.
Like I always say, like this is like this is the McDonald's. Like this is palatable for everybody. This is soccer moms like this one. You know what I mean? And but it still goes. It's commercially viable, but it's also just a song that you can listen to and you can bob your head and you still get that feel from
And
it.
it's classy, but the way he's describing this lady in the club is kind
yeah.
of. That's what I loved about it too. Like, it's a classy tune, but the way freaky like the daughter of a pastor said I was the bait for her to master. Like,
Yeah.
he's really describing this this lady in the club, and it's a hit in my opinion. It's like one of those. It's not a. I hate to say a sellout hit. He didn't sell out for it. No, it's just what he was. The beat again. John Mayer, Kanye on his man. This beat is beautiful too, man.
It's funny. I always think like when they talk about, oh, he sold out. He made. I think it was way back in the days, but Tupac once said he was like, you make a record for the ladies, and then the dudes will show up.
Oh, yeah, they're gonna look. Yeah.
And that's kind of the formula still. Like if you get the ladies and you hook them in, and there's pretty much 1, maybe 2 songs on this album that do it. But my wife, this is one of her favorite albums.
Yeah, definitely.
And she's not listening to it for the corner. She likes the corner, but that's not what drew her in. So it's almost like this little manipulative thing that you do. You get the ladies in and the dudes follow. 'Cause wherever the ladies are at, that's where we're trying to be.
Yeah,
so.
we want what the ladies want.
Yes.
That's always
Yes.
And it's again, it's beautiful how he he made it soulful, but it's one of those songs you have to have a little bit of everything. And I really enjoy Go. Still, it's not and there's not many. I don't skip any of these tracks. That's what's so hard about listening to us out. There is something hard about it. You can't just skip to the next track. Everything, the way it was formatted, I believe too, man. That's another thing I think that's really underrated now, especially with today's albums. I know it's different times. I get it, but the way this is formatted, the way every song was meant for it to be, that's
like the track listing was an important thing back in the
Yeah,
days.
100%.
Like the sequencing and it had to flow into. It's not it's a cohesive album, and that and from what I've read before, like they said, Kanye was one of the greatest at that. Like he knew just this fits right here. It's got to be in this sequence.
I think one of the most. I would say that there's 2 songs on this album that really mean the most to me, and Faithful is one of those. As a young man, it's like I never really thought about what if God was a her,
Right.
And just the way he was kind of articulating how the universe is not what we always were told it was. And as a young man, I kind of knew, but now as a 34-year-old man, it's like I can relate to this now that I have more life experiences. And I think that's what hip hop's all about.
Right. I look at, first of all, I hear the soul sample. You hear that beat. Whew,
Oh my god.
the
Faithful
yes.
to the end. Yeah.
But I've always said like there's certain rap. Common is one of those dudes. I always called it grown man rap. It's like you're talking about shit that like, yeah, I listened to shit when I was in my early 20s and coming up in high school, whatever, and it was like, I didn't give a fuck what they were saying. They were saying wild shit, and I was like, yeah, that's cool. But as you get older, like, responsibilities change. Like, I got kids and a wife and jobs and responsibilities, and so having a rapper rap to me about shit that I'm really going through, like, that just hits in a different way now, and this was one of them. And, we were all a certain type of dude at some point, and, like, to me, it's like, we had bitches ain't shit and ain't no fun, and now there's a dude like questioning like, should I really be doing this? Like a faithful life is something I kind of want, like way out the box at that time, man. And
I didn't even think would I want her for a mind or a heavenly body. Couldn't be out getting bogus with someone so godly. If I was with her, would I be wanting my ex, the lies, the greed, the weed, the sex? Wouldn't I be ashamed to give her part of my check? And it's like, would he's saying like, would I still be a player if I knew God was a woman?
Right.
Would I still be doing things wrong if I had this, I guess, this heavenly figure? Like, how would why would I treat my woman? It'd be like I'm treating God that way. And it's like so deep now that I think about it. It's like, what the?
So many layers to it, man.
Yeah, and it's like, I can relate to that because, and let me see, this is the line he thought and said, I'm trying to get my life together. Went home to his lady. These were his confessions. Baby, you're a blessing and my best friend. Because I could see that with my current life.
Absolutely.
Like, I fuck up. And I know she'll be, my wife would be, we got this. Don't worry about it. This is we're living a blessed life. And it's like, man, it's so crazy how this song it impacted me when I was a young kid, dude. I kind of was really, didn't say I was still doing my thing, but I knew that this was a very, very special cut, man.
But then, and you look at shit like now, like we all have friends that are, our age, they're older dudes that still think it's like corny that we're in love and that we have these like faithful relationships and like, nah, man, like it's kind of a dope thing and. Like, you're the one who's missing out, not me. I'm good, man. We
lived it already, man.
I've been there, done that. Don't ever want to do it again.
We were just talking about that yesterday at dinner. We don't want Mike and his girl. It's like, dude, 34, man. There's nothing else that, like, that doesn't, not the sole reason why I want to be married, but, dude, why would I? My home is good. Like, I've been there, done that, and I know what love is, and that's what it's kind of like. And I show my wife these songs too. Like, love is faithful is one of those songs. Like, it's faithful to not just your girl, but I guess to your world. And it's Common just did it in such an amazing way, man.
I always think like not just my wife, my kid, but there's nothing out there that life's gonna give me that is better than what I got right now, and that's kind of what that faithful. The whole joint kind of reminds me of.
The beat is beautiful too, man. Yes. How in the hell, like, how did Kanye decide to cut this? Is amazing in my opinion.
I'll always find that, like, just you hear just this little snippet, like 2 seconds, if that, of a song, and to pitch it down or to pitch it up, slow it down, hit it at just the right moment. Like, that shit's genius to me.
Another thing I really love about this album too, how this is one of those albums too. You gotta nod your head too.
Oh, yeah.
Like this, every song, it's like. It's contagious, and those are kind of like, that's how you know, man. I think it's hard to explain to people, but when you put those headphones on and you just start, this shit just makes you nod your head. It's like you don't think about anything else. You got nothing else on your mind but the music. This is it gets you going, bro, and I really, really love it.
And that was a vibe at that time too. You had dudes like Common, you had Dead Prez, you had Quelly. Mos Def, where they're saying like real shit over some serious head nodding beats. So you're like, damn, like sometimes you don't even realize you're being schooled because the beat is so fire.
And you know what too? Just to get off the topic of beat, we're gonna stay on it. But around this time too, this is a little bit different than what was dropping at the time. Just look at the top 10. We had "Holla Back Girl" by Gwen Stefani. Oh, and remember why I'm bringing up the Billboard charts, because this guy was nominated for Album of the Year and Hip Hop Album of the Year for this album. And Hate to Love It, just a little bit. This is 50's time right now. Yeah. Lonely, Akon, Lonely No More by Rob Thomas, Slow Down, Bobby Valentino, Since You've Been Gone, Candy Shop. This is the
50
world.
was running things back
50
then, wasn't
was 50 had four. What 1, 2? You see 1, 2. Yeah, 3 of the top 10.
Damn.
This was 50's time too, and this again, this is the time where people were trying to get that top spot. Jay left that void, and Eminem was kind of going through that encore stage. I don't really know if he was worried about being the best rapper alive at that time, and I think it was more of that. No, we're not talking about commercial. We're talking about spinning bars and telling a story and a message. And Faithful is one of those songs that really, I'm coming for that spot, and it's really nice to see.
Shows his versatility too.
For sure. The next song, which I remember music videos where this shit Testify, Common.
Was it Taraji P. Henson in that video?
Man, I'm actually I know the people won't be able to see it. We're gonna put it on mute.
Right.
But this was one of those songs too. We know what we love hip hop for, a good story.
Storytelling, man. And I made a note of it because what stuck out to me is that he stripped down his whole flow. He's almost talking.
Mm-hmm,
it's not. It's almost like spoken word poetry.
Mm-hmm.
and the story behind it, and he's painting that picture.
Mm-hmm.
You see it. You see the courtroom. You see the lady sitting there making the faces and giving them signals, and spoiler alert. At the end, there's a crazy flip at the end of the story.
And before you put my love away, that's again putting that sample in between those bars, in between his words. Hip hop
not even as a hook. It's not a hook. Yeah. It's just part of the verse.
Definitely.
Yeah, it's wild. It's good.
And it's pretty cool to see, like, and what Testified, just watching over again a couple nights ago. I forgot it was a mini movie.
Yeah.
There is a
Wood
mini
Harris,
movie.
right? Wood Harris in there.
Yeah, man. This is now you see Taraji Henson fresh off this Straw movie.
Yeah.
That was 20 years. This is 20 years ago. Now she has her biggest hit. So it's crazy, man.
Avon Barksdale there. If you've watched The Wire.
Hell yeah. Let me see here.
No, it's the storytelling. Like I said, he's painting that picture, but it's not like over the top. I got to hit you in the head with it. He's just a very stripped down version of his flow, and it's crazy. And that, like I said, like we're 5-6 songs in, and every song has a different vibe, different flow, different beat patterns, different, but it all fits and it all works.
And like you said, Fear in the Chest, with her face with tears, had her man's back. He was facing years. The way he says that, it's like, no, there's no melody to it. He's just really saying it. It's like he's telling a story about his betrayal, because at the end of the story, it turns out to be his wife. Yeah. And man, it's crazy. But that's another hip hop. Just a sample of it, just the way it comes off, it's really beautiful. I love it, man. Yep. It's one of my favorites. Man, another one that's
yes,
oh my god,
I think this is my favorite. This is
This is your favorite one. Yeah, and this is a Dilla track. 1000% Love Is. Dude, now as a man who's in love.
Look at you.
Crazy.
Look at you.
It's how beautiful love can be on the streets of love is hard to see. Like, that sample's so crazy. The hip hop. This is the story. This is it's like finding love in the ghetto type of thing, man, the hood, and that's kind of what the story is, and it still means so much. It meant a lot to me as a young kid who thought he was in love, but now as a man who's in love and living this life of, I guess, love, right?
Right.
So crazy that he could tell this story, and it hits me so much more, man. It's crazy.
And not to get too deep into like the philosophical shit about love, but like love changes. Like what your idea of love is, and so like I said, when you listen to this album the first time, like. Initially, when you're young, love could just be like a physical thing. Like, I love this girl.
God, yes.
And then it grows into like, what is she? She making me a better person. And then like, I'm at a stage of love where it's like I want to tackle everything with you. I want you by my side in every fucking challenge. Yes. I want to grow old. I want to be fucking angry with you. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
But that's the cool thing about like a classic, anything, album, movie, whatever. Like it kind of grows with you. And Love is one of those, man.
And we talked about last week with Raising Hell. When you listen to an album and you find something different, and a line that I really want to talk about is, men, we were taught to hold it in. That's why we don't know how till we older men. Yep. It's like, damn. Just in my experience, just love was like a submissive thing. Like, you had to bow down, and you don't want to bow down to your woman because you want to be the man and you want to be right. Yeah. It's like, no, dude, like giving love is compromise. Giving love is meeting halfway and doing things you probably don't want to do, but doing it. And you, I'm sure you
love don't make you soft.
Yeah, dude, it's make you know that way really better than I do. I've been married only for 4 months.
Yeah, we all know it, man, because we all know it in our own way.
Yes,
and
exactly.
That's the cool thing. Like, and some people know it in a bad way. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
Like some people have really poor examples of love, and they're like, "Fuck that! I don't want to be part of that."
And it's crazy what he says, and I kind of relate to that too. We look for love, and he's in crap games, black games, and big faces, and that's the money. That's the hood rats.
Yeah,
that's the gambling, the high we get from that stuff, and just the everyday addictions of life, which we all relate to. We all got a vice, right?
Got my cup of coffee right here.
And dude, it's crazy how this song it just means so much more, and it's so impactful because again, and everybody, we're not telling anybody anything they don't know, but just going through life, you have these different experiences, and it's like, man, I remember there's stuff I go through at 34 that I don't think I would be able to handle at 21. Just wasn't ready mentally. It's like that. We always want that frontal lobe, right? With these kids, my frontal lobe was not developed at 22, 23 when I thought I knew it all. Compared to 34, it's like, I could see that.
Shit, I'm down near 50. I don't know. Mine's fully developed now. My wife will let you know. Hey, his shit stopped a long time ago.
Oh man, no. But you're great though, my guy. I'm glad we could share. We have some immature moments too. I wish we could put. Yeah. If you guys only knew these phone calls, it would be great. It would be great. I want to I don't want to just skim over Love Is. It's the beat was beautiful. Dilla. Was this what he was? And you know a little bit more. I know I'm a Dilla fan, but I'm not really. I haven't locked in all the way. With his story, at least. Was he sick at this time when he was making these?
I believe so. I think it was early on. I think this was one of the albums where, like, they were having to go to his house, and he had a studio in the basement and stuff, and they were having to go to him, and didn't really know why. Like, he was just really private about what he was going through, but they knew something was different. Just about his beat. So, like, you hear those kind of offbeat drums that are kind of his sound.
Definitely.
And, like, kind of sound weird, but like to be so offbeat that you're on beat is kind of crazy, and he was the master at that. Those drums are just like, Common's flowing, and you hear like this weird like in the middle of a beat, and it's wild, man. Like he did shit that nobody else can and will do probably.
No, the beat is again hip hop 101, man.
Yep.
Line 2, coming back to the podcast here, keep running the podcast. We are What's in the Deck with the Common B album. 100%. Funny how we love them more when they're relaxed in the grave. Wonder if a thug is raw, is he acting afraid? Like, I can relate to that now that we experienced some loss. It's like we're not taught to show emotion as men.
Right, heck no.
And then when we're homie's gone, it's like, damn, now it was still like he's saying like it's okay to cry. It's seeing the hardest soften when his homie's in the coffin. Like, it's such a crazy feeling that. It hits still. This album 20 years ago could still talk to me as a grown man. It's so crazy, bro.
And like,
so crazy.
Not to get too in depth into our personal lives, but like we're both kind of the ones who take on a lot of the burden, and not even burden. Like we just take that responsibility of making sure everybody's good.
Definitely.
And I think it was Royce 5'9" who was like had a song called "Strong Friend" where it's like, who checks on the person who checks on everybody?
Exactly.
And like we're just taught like suck it up, keep it moving, and like now, like I'm guessing your wife does the same thing my wife does. Like they're always asking, like, you good? You good?
Yeah.
You all right? Like they can see when we're stressed and stuff like that.
And
so to have that, and he's talking about like, yeah, I got shit going on, but I'm not supposed to talk about it. Yeah, it's just a whole different vibe. Like listening to it now at 47 years old, when I got a lot more responsibility and shit that I take. I take like strong care and personal like like I feel it's on my shoulders.
Yeah, 100%.
And hearing him talk about it, and it feels just a different way, man. It's dope.
It's such like in the hip hop thing, like and it's something we always loved. I'm sure we're gonna encounter more of these as these albums that we talk about that we love. It's like they're still speaking to me in a weird way. Like again, 20 years later, like. That's a masterpiece. Like this is something we could. When I'm 60, I'm sure I'm gonna find something else. I'm gonna experience even more stuff that I couldn't handle at 34 years old. And
I'm gonna be the old ass hip hop head in the retirement home, dude.
And hopefully, like on episode like 675, we keep this shit going forever,
I'll be trying to get it in the retirement home in my little scooter.
And with the, I think we talked about the longevity. Hopefully, I know it's only week 2, but damn, we're here, right?
Yeah.
The longevity of this is endless in a weird way. Like, there's so many albums that we listen to. We could we could go 2005 and have a year podcast.
Oh, yeah.
Like, honestly, I was thinking about that there. Not to get off the topic.
There's like a 3-year run, late 90s, where it's like, it's just banger after banger. Some of the most classic shit you're going to hear, and it all came out at that time.
And imagine just talking about the mainstream shit, the All Eyes on Me, Machiavelli, and I can't wait to tell a story about how you wanted to take that shit back.
Oh, I did.
Yeah,
I
dude.
did.
That story's like
I slept on Machiavelli.
I cannot wait. I slept on College Dropout. Yeah. Remember, that's one of my first hip hop scoldings. Like, no,
I told you,
you will not.
I told you.
Like, this is kind of like, this is where I think this is a very special pod, but again, very special. Another special song that Shy City. Yeah, this is the one for me too.
Yeah,
probably the hardest song that he has on this.
Absolutely.
And
in my notes, street shit for the city. that's what it says, because that's exactly what it is.
He's like, he's bringing Shy, like it's one of those Andre 3K things. The Shy got something to say. Yep. And the song, I think the line that's always, my man retired, I'm going to take over. Till these halftime breaks over. Yeah. I'm raw, hustlers, get your baking soda. Too many rape the culture. Like, you can say this now, and it's fucking relevant. Like, yes, there's too many of you guys. Let me show you what I could do.
And it was like, he was announcing it. He's like, not only am I repping for my city, I'm the dude. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, he was, hip-hop is a very... ego-driven, type of music.
It's braggadocious, bro.
Yeah, braggadocious. At the beginning of it, it was all about why I'm a better MC than you. Mm-hmm. And this was kind of this is why I'm better than you. This is why I need to rep the city. This is why you guys should get on my back and follow me. Let's go. And fuck, the dude just...
I rap with the passion of Christ and crossed me. Took it out of space and stuff, they lost me. I'm back like a chiropractor with B-boy survival rap. It ain't 94, Joe. We can't go back. Like
it's just verse after verse, line after line. He just spitting and just showing everybody I'm a fucking MC.
Hey man, this is the line I really love now. Like it's kind of hard when we can't play the music because we'll get cut off and shit. But just saying, inspired by black Muslims and Christians, pushing cutlasses, dope, and other traditions in the conditions of the city. Like. That's so deep. Like, no, I'm inspired by everybody. Like, we in the hood, but we still try to make it. We still trying to make it, and it's like, oh man, it's Kanye's on his shit.
Like I say, and all that's done over a banging beat, man. The whole beat, the horns and you say Shy City.
You don't stop. That's all, and it's the way it's scratched. And it's so simple, but I'm sure it's very complex. And
well, and that goes back to last week when we were talking about the DJ and putting those scratches in, and this is very much, taken from that vibe. That you hit those scratches and straight up hip hop.
So many raps about rims of surprise they become tires. Oh. It's still so relevant. Like, no, he's telling them, like, you could talk about that subject matter, but I got something deeper for you that really hits the heart of the game. And if you hear what I say, you're gonna know you can't. I'm undeniable. Yeah. That's kind of what I think too. This whole album was Common needed to show motherfuckers that he's undeniable. Yep. No matter what I drop after this, you're gonna always look back at this and this is my let me see. I guess I would say maybe Kobe's fourth title. This is the one without Shaq. I can't really compare it to that because he has but. This is the one. This is in the middle. This is the one I got to show and prove. This is the one I got to really show you guys. I'm not here just for, just to be. I want to be considered the best, and I love. This is the one here.
This is like the most glaring classic example, but Illmatic. Now I said this is me, and anything that's ever built off of that, albums that flopped, albums that were successful, albums that people didn't like, there was always Illmatic to fall back on, and this was his Illmatic. It wasn't his first, but it was his album where he was like, this is going to be my stamp. This is what I'm going to stand on for the rest of my career.
For sure. Man, I'm so tempted to ask about just told Jim Jones thinking he's better than Nas topic. Man, I'm so tempted, but we're not going to see it for another day. We have to have a bone. We're going to start charging people for current hip hop talks. $5 an episode, Patreon.
It won't be much of a conversation from my side. I love you, Jim. Come on.
But damn, dude, confidence is key. But what the hell is he talking
Irrational
about?
confidence. There's got to be somebody in the group that's got irrational confidence. I appreciate Jim for that.
And if your boy don't listen to Nas, don't listen to Nas, that's on you, my guy. Like, if you're a hip hop guy, like, you gotta show your kid Nas at some point. There are some kid friendly anthems, but his kid don't look like he listens to kid friendly shit. He probably listens to that little TJ shit. I get it, I love it too, but anyway.
Another conversation for another day.
Yeah, we're gonna have to have those bonus episodes one day talk about the current stuff. Shout out to Slick Rick, man. Slick Rick on house music. Who would have thought?
Man, I need an eye patch and a Dookie rope chain right now.
Man, struggling right now too, man. Don't even get me started on the concert. So, Shy City, and then when another song we just talked about. 20 years later, they finally released the audio, the studio version.
It's wild.
Only heard the live version all my life until I heard the Food in the studio. It's the Food with Kanye West. Man, that is. I would say, how do I say this? This is the Pittman Jordan thing we're talking about. This is the Shy. This is kind of like a Shy. I feel like this should be a Chi-Town anthem.
Right.
Not that I'm some Chi-Town historian.
Right.
But when I think Chicago, this is the song I'm always thinking of. This is a fucking live version, bro. It's beautiful.
It's funny because, like I told you last week, like I'm not used to hearing the song without Dave Chappelle doing the intro. It was kind of weird to hear and I listened to the studio version and it was good, but I went straight back to the live version. It's something about it, and it's kind of like it's kind of before Watch the Throne. This was kind of like they could have done a full album together.
Oh yeah,
just
for
the
sure.
two of them going back and forth over Kanye beats. Like it was, they had that back and forth, like we talked about with Run DMC. Like it just coming out blazing with lines and just
I walked
similes
in
and
the
metaphors.
crib, got 2 kids, my baby mama late. And it's like, no, dude, you got to get the food. This is the food. Like, didn't really understand it when I was younger because I never, not that I haven't experienced it yet, but man, you got to grind for this shit.
Yes.
It's all on me. And I was gonna say this is kind of one of those tracks too that kind of show like, if Kanye said I could do this. I can make anybody a hit. And it's just how I elevate people. It's kind of like he facilitates it for Common, man. It just it's a hip hop track that I really really love, and it's who was the genius that said no? Let's put the live or the Food live, but not the studio version. Like it needs to be the live one. Who thought of that?
And at the time, I didn't really like it. I'm like, come on, man, I want the studio version. But over time, like hearing it, and it's almost like a break. You know what I mean? It's like a commercial within the album because like it's just a different sound. It's got that kind of crunchy, crackly live sound to it and everything. It's beautiful, beautiful.
And I think that's whoever again the genius of that. And we didn't even realize it 20 years later. Like, damn, that was a genius move because again, the studio version is good.
Yeah.
But it's just you feel it more, and that's the way it's supposed to be felt, and that's a risk. I think it's a risk that it just appealed, man. It's a great thing.
It almost became too like this mythical thing because everybody had only heard the live version, so people were like, "Is there even a studio version in existence?" It's like Bigfoot, dude. Like people, I heard there was one, but I've never heard it myself, And then 20 years later, just out of nowhere they drop it. It's kind of cool.
I think, and that's when this is before we even talked about doing the pod. It was like I sent you that. I'm like, dude, what the hell? We finally got this, and it's all good in the hood, like raps and gems, throwbacks and Timbs, blacks and rims, whether on bar courts and tires of all sorts. God, man,
just lyrics after lyrics.
I don't even know if we're doing it. We can't do it just without the music. It's so crazy.
You gotta hear it.
You gotta hear the way he's flowing in the pockets. I'm a big pocket guy. You get that? Once you find that pocket and you could rhyme within the pockets, some Rock Kim stuff. Like, it's crazy how when we talked about the way he writes, this Common's writing like that. He's doing these triple compound raps that I've always.
There's 3 rhymes within one bar.
I've always been obsessed with that stuff, man.
Me too.
It's beautifully done. It's again, what a risk he took, and it paid off. Real People, that's the next cover. This one, man, this is what. Oh, that's they say. Sorry. This is for the people. Again, I just wish that we could show the people we're talking about because we can't do it justice with the beat. Another Kanye song, man. I could see why. Like, and I think Late Registration was after this.
I think so.
This is kind of those vibes I got too, man. It was the sample heavy and
always the Kanye was, he may not have been the first to hit us with the soul samples, but he definitely, there was Just Blaze was doing it, Heat Makers were doing it, like there was a lot of people doing the soul samples, but he just did it in a way like he messed with the pitch, he messed with the tone, he messed with the, he slowed it down, he sped it up, whatever the case was. But I made a note because what really stood out to me in this song was how dope Common's voice is.
Yeah, man.
Like it's cool. Yeah, you can put words together. Like I could probably put some nice words together. I got a lisp and I fucking sound funny. So I don't know if people are gonna want to listen to it. But Common has that cool ass voice. There's like, that's why he's such a good actor, dude. He's got that cool voice that you want to listen to. And this song right here, just like his voice stood out. It was crazy.
And it's always special. We like early Snoop does. I'm sure Snoop still doesn't now, but when you're talking, that's your flow. That's a gift. You can't. I think Quick does that very well. Common does it very well. Yep. Nas does it probably the best. Hov could do it at times. Like when you could just real people walking the streets. It's like you have that bounce in your voice, but you're just talking to the people.
Yeah, he's just telling us a story.
Definitely.
That happens to rhyme, and there's a cool beat under it.
And it's the poetry, man. The poetry is on here, and it's crazy. They say next song, Chicago, peak Chicago right here. I feel like this is another Chicago anthem. John Legend, before John Legend was John Legend, and you see these Kanye docs now that they're dropping. Like you see John in the background.
He's always in the background of all of them. He's just kind of this dude just sitting there. If there's a piano, he's at it. He's playing little riffs for them, and like you hear older Chicago stuff, older Kanye, and it's like, oh shit, that's John Legend saying that. He's not even listed on the track of some of them, but you hear his voice.
And it's one of those songs. It's like, man, he's telling a story here, and it's
very similar vibe to Real People as far as like the soul sample, the feeling, his voice, and all that. But it's just the dude can rap. At the end of the day, the dude can rap.
And it's like from what I got from this track, listening to it all week, it's just kind of like he's talking about the game and how it's so easy to be consumed by the devices of the game, and you kind of lose yourself. I wish I could, like, man, we're going to keep saying it. We have, and Ye gets on that too now that I see it. It's like the game is not it's not as sweet as people think. And it's, now we know what Kanye is now. It's like, fuck, dude, you didn't listen to this song,
that game made him something wild.
Yeah, man, you listen to this shit, my guy.
It makes you wonder, too, like, we talk about what we're going through in our lives when we hear these songs. Like, what was he going through when he wrote this shit? Like, what part of his life was he, was he at? Was he, was he questioning his own shit? Was he questioning his place in the game? Like, what was he going through? That shit, we don't think about them and what they're going through. We put it on ourselves, but, like, he had to be going through some real shit to come up with a lot of shit he was saying.
Did you, and you know a little bit more, again, I look to you as my hip-hop mentor. Electric Circus, did that album impact you in any way? Was it good? And nothing's whack. Everything's a piece of art, unique. Everybody has their own story. But how did you feel about Electric Circus? That's kind of like the one that, what people say at least, that's what kind of made Common. Damn, I gotta come with the heat on this one. Like Electric Circus was my experimental album, and it didn't really do what I thought it was gonna do.
And I didn't appreciate that till way later, because at that time I was strictly hip hop head. Like that was the time where, like, I may have lived in Bakersfield, but I was rocking Timbs and jeans, and I wanted to be like the third member of fucking Mobb Deep. Like that. So I was just heavy into rap. And he came with something totally different, and kind of threw people for a loop, man. And it wasn't what people were expecting. I think if that were to drop now, especially a hip-hop crowd is a little more open-minded.
Yeah, definitely.
So it probably would hit different now, but at the time, I was like, this isn't me. I don't like it. I don't like it. There was a couple tracks here and there, and then the video with the Come Closer, the Erykah Badu, and he's holding the signs, and which was really, like, looking back on it now, it's a dope concept.
Yeah.
But at the time, like, when I was 20-something years old, and I was wanting to be, I thought I was fucking. I thought I was a East Coast rapper, and so it just wasn't hitting at the time. But I've gone back and listened to it and have a different appreciation for it now.
I feel like with now that we're coming to closing this album, acid rap, College Dropout, Black Milk, Popular Demand. Those really changed my views on what hip hop can be.
Right.
It's not, and I kind of missed out when I was younger. I didn't really catch the conscious rap. I didn't get to see that. This was my intro to the backpack rap.
Yeah, and it had so many names. There's conscious. It was backpack. You know, and before it got taken away and politicized, like it was woke was like created by this style of rap. It was the whole reason the word woke. It was they're not sleeping on the shit that's going on.
Yeah.
They're conscious of what's going
It's
on,
not-
and it's been taken and turned into
blown
a
up.
whole nother thing.
Woke was
But
kind of like when I was coming up, it was kind of like, and I know it's different. We have an age gap there, but it's about talking about other than negative shit. It's about positive stuff and telling a message and telling people like, no, this is the way you guys think it is, but no, we got something a little bit deeper here.
Yep.
And that's what Common's doing in this album. Like, to me, that's why I loved it so much, because it spoke to feelings that I didn't know were okay to have in a weird way. And it's weird. I know people are probably thinking, you got that from hip hop? Yeah, I got that from, because when you're in your room by yourself and shit, and all you want to do is listen to and soak in everything. At this point, too, we were already probably 3 or 4 years into this whole fucking let's give each other music.
Right.
This was at the peak of this, and this is when we had time to listen to everything. And I don't think they understand. Like Dat Piff, hot new mixtape.
Dub CNN.
Dub CNN.
Wow.
This is in Donez and CDs. This is where we got our shit from. And Common B was when we had a double XL. That's why that was the hype about this too. I guess we could talk about the story around the album now. The hype around this was crazy. Like,
oh yeah,
I remember I was thinking, how can it be good? Like, what's he? And just hearing the intro, hearing the corners, it's a breath of fresh air. And it's crazy how you, as an artist, your fourth album in, after your last one kind of failed with your experiment, you still could give the people something fresh that's timeless. Like, can you imagine the process of that, dude?
Well, and back then too, like, it wasn't just, you wake up on a Friday and some big rapper has dropped a new album and you just go stream it. Like, there was a whole promo rollout, months of, advertisements and magazines, and they're doing radio interviews, and, they're on, 106 in Park and all these shows that, I don't even know if they exist anymore, but like there was a whole rollout. So they put in all this work hoping that it was going to hit.
Yeah, man.
And I've seen plenty of them roll out, put in all this work and flop big time. So like, it wasn't just like, hey, let's throw it out and see if people like it. It was like, we put in months and months and sometimes years of work and got to hope for the best at the end of the day. That's wow. Cause there are artists now probably wouldn't understand that kind of pressure.
No, not at all.
They can just make some shit or you've seen Kanye who will make shit, throw it out there, doesn't get the reaction he wants, and actually change what's able to be streamed.
Yeah,
like this shit was pressed on a CD. Like what was out there was out there. There was no change in that shit.
And the album cover, just him, and it's like and that's why I put the yellow lights today. Yeah. That yellow album cover, just with him, and it's like it's so simple, but that's what the music is. It's so simple, but it's common, and it's his story, man. And again, just the idea of just dropping something so timeless like this that could just resonate with you 20 years later. And it wasn't like, and we talked about rollouts. This wasn't, I can't give you the exact numbers right now, but this wasn't something that sold 10 million records. Yeah. Over time, it's gaining more appreciation. It was just certified platinum in 2025.
Wow.
So and again, I think at the time, it was conscious rap, I guess you could say, but it was one of the first albums on, Kanye just had this freaking run, like I said. But now he has his own album. And Common and Ye are getting together for good music. What the hell is good music? Good music, and this is what it is. And this is when it mattered to have. This is when every rapper has a label now, right? But this is when it mattered to have a label. And you got to drop something hot. Like, you got to, if you're going to use your platform to give your artist that platform too, this is what it has to be. And this is the epitome of that, man. And it's still beautiful, dude. I still can't believe this is the peak. This is peak Common. Don't know if it's a perfect album. I don't know if anything's perfect, but it's damn near. Everything's very beautiful on it.
And what's cool about Common has always been like he's not afraid to take chances. Like we talked about, what was the Electric Circus?
Yeah.
That was experimental as experimental gets. Came with B. Hit with it, Finding Forever, hit with it. but then in between there, he's got was Universal Mind Control,
Yeah.
which was
Fighting
all
Forever.
Like, yeah, which was all like Universal Mind Control was like all EDM type shit, and still, you know, yeah, I made a flop, but I'm still gonna take another chance.
Definitely.
That's fucking wild because there's not a lot of people in hip hop that would have the balls to go out and do that. Like I fucked up once, I failed, didn't work, but you know what? I'm gonna try it again.
And we talk about
hats off to the man.
We talk about time and how much. The album's only 42 minutes long.
Wow,
crazy, right?
Wow.
And then he did Find You Forever, 50 minutes. Universal Mind Control, 38 minutes.
Yeah.
Common just come in, and the Dreamer, the Believer. That's kind of like I thought that was kind of like that grab to try to go back to B.
Right.
I love that album. No Way Smiling. I didn't want to be honest with you. Didn't catch that one.
Is that the one with no ID did the whole? I think.
No, that was the Dreamer, the Believer.
Okay.
That was the one. That's
the no ID.
That's the one with no ID. I love that one, man. And that's when he was going at Drake and all that shit.
Yep.
I remember that.
That's another thing. Like he's never been afraid of beef. Like the dude went at it with Ice Cube. He went at it with Drake. Like he's taking shots at people and taking shots and gone right back at them. Like,
definitely.
That's kind of that whole vibe where like, yeah, maybe he's wearing some crocheted pants and a beanie, but he'll throw down if he wants, which is kind of cool.
He is a battle He is no punk.
Yep.
It's crazy too. Now 20 years later, he just did another collaborative album with Pete Rock and got a Grammy nod.
That's
like,
if you haven't heard this album, guys, whew,
the Auditorium.
The Auditorium is fire.
No, we definitely gotta we'll probably have to talk about that too. But he's still it's still crazy. And 20 years later, it's still Common's still relevant. He's still making an impact. No matter what anybody says, still getting nominated for a Grammy is a hell of an accomplishment.
And it's funny because there's young people out there who only know him as an actor.
Yeah.
Like I had somebody, one of our younger kids, was like, I didn't know Ice Cube made music. Like they only know him as an actor, which is wild to me. You know, he's just the dude from Friday.
Just the dude from Friday. Yeah.
But, so to put people on like that, like you know, my kids probably only knew him as an actor until I introduced his music. You know, because it's not like, you know, once he started his acting thing, being an actor gets you so much more notoriety, much more. You know, your face is seen for a different reason.
Then was that one with the Queen Latifah? That's what I remember him from.
The basketball?
Yeah, basketball.
I don't remember the name of it.
And Common's definitely one of those guys who are, they crossed over, and he's a legend, man. And again, Common B, great album. I hope you guys all listen to it. Please do.
As far as rappers go, like he is Chicago.
Yeah, for sure.
Kanye has this notoriety for good stuff and bad stuff, but as far as being a rapper, he is Chicago.
Definitely. I like it, man. That was easy.
These are always easy.
Oh, what's in the deck, ladies and gentlemen? Yes. That's episode 154. You guys keep tuning in. Listen to the album.
Yes.
45 minutes of your time.
Yep. Jump in the comments. Let us know what you think of the album.
Yeah,
like, you may say like this is whack, and that's fine. Like the cool thing about anything in life, but especially like hip hop, like there's something out there for everybody.
Exactly.
There's and there's a vibe for you, and if it's not for you, that's cool. Like I'll give everything a listen, like I say all the time, and if I don't like it, like I'll pass on it, but I'm not going to shit on it. Like, it's just not for me. But you might get introduced to something that you're like, damn, I didn't realize this was out there, and that's kind of what I'm hoping for out of this.
And I think as a just someone who appreciates music, still kind of involved with the music, nothing's ever whack. It's your story. You have a unique view on it. Right. Some stuff I can't. There's some 2008 Atlanta stuff I cannot stand. Because you can tell it's made in the closet, and that's cool. Right. That was their sound. That's what got them through. That's what got them in there. You know. But I love it, and we love it. Tune in next week. We got 2001 on board.
Is that what
that's
right?
2001's deck. That's fun.
So full disclosure, guys, I don't find out the next album until we end this right now. So I go into it a little more blind than he does, but that's kind of the fun part for me. 2001, Dr. Dre's up next week. Man. That's gonna be fun. So that's gonna be a little bit longer. I think it might be longer than an hour. There's like a lot of cuts on there, a lot of talk on there. And man, this is What's in the Deck. I'm Ernie C, DJ EC3, Tony Donez here, guys,
and we out.